709 more people tested positive for the coronavirus. 14 more people have died. Hospitalizations decreased by the dozen, and the statewide positivity rate increased only slightly. President Biden will be here on Wednesday to tour a lab where Johnson & Johnson vaccines are being made. The Maryland Health Department is reporting more than 1 million first doses have been administered. "716 confirmed cases reported in the last 24 hours. 8 more people have died. However, hospitalizations are down and the statewide positivity rate stays exactly the same." The CDC has announced new guidelines saying people who are fully vaccinated can gather with other vaccinated people indoors and without masks, and it says grandparents who are fully vaccinated can visit with children and grandchildren, those at low risk for severe illness from COVID-19. Any person in the state of Maryland who is COVID vaccinated should still wear a safe mask when out in public. Now, we've been also learned with President Joe Biden is no longer coming to Baltimore this week. He was originally going to tour Emergent BioSolution where the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is being made, but instead, the president will host an event on Wednesday with the CEOs of Johnson & Johnson and Merck in Washington, D.C. The Goucher poll shows 64% of Marylanders plan to get vaccinated as soon as they can or have already received at least one dose. However, 15% of Maryland residents say they want to wait to see how the vaccines are working, and 18% they will only get the shot if it's required or will definitely not get the vaccinated at all. Now, Maryland for the COVID-19 adds more than 630 new cases have been reported on the last day. 25 more people have died. Hospitalizations remain exactly the same, and the positivity rate went up slightly by 0.04%. Democrats are pushing ahead with President Biden's COVID relief package without the support of Republican lawmakers. 900 more people in Maryland tested positive for the coronavirus, and 9 more people are now hospitalized with the infection. The positivity rate increased, and 14 more people have died. Governor Hogan is easing some restrictions starting on Friday. There will be no more capacity limits on indoor and outdoor dining, but you must be seated and cannot be crowded around the restaurant bars. All capacity limits are being lifted on retail shops as well as churches, personal service, and indoor recreations. Masks remain mandatory. The state of Maryland adds 924 new positive cases in the last 24 hours. Hospitalizations and the positivity test rates have dropped. Just over 24 hours and our state will be lift capacity restrictions on restaurants, stores, gyms, and places of worship. Local cities and counties may choose to keep restrictions in place. So far, Harford, Howard, and Anne Arundel counties have decided to lift the restrictions on Friday once again. But Baltimore County and City are still analyzing the data. 15 more CVS pharmacies in Maryland will start administer COVID vaccines starting Saturday on the weekend. Appointments for the latest doses will become available to book, and this brings the total number of CVS pharmacies in Maryland giving out the vaccines to 37. CVS pharmacies are located everywhere in the state of Maryland, including Havre de Grace, Elton, Edgewood, Fallston, Forest Hill, and more. Maryland recorded once again with almost nearly 1,000 Marylanders have coronavirus. 16 more people have died. However, the hospitalizations are decreased. The positivity rate remains somewhat steady at 3.61%. Maryland lifted coronavirus capacity limits on restaurants and businesses. However, the mask mandate will stay in place. Anne Arundel, Baltimore, Carroll, Harford, and Howard counties will all easing restrictions at the governor's place. That means there will be no capacity limits on indoor and outdoor dining at restaurants and bars. Capacity limits are also being lifted for retails, religious facilities, fitness centers, casinos, indoor restriction facilities. However, Baltimore Mayor Scott says the city will not ease current restrictions just yet. The coronavirus numbers are mostly increasing in Maryland. More than 1,000 people have tested positive cases for the coronavirus. Deaths are increasing as well as the hospitalizations and the positivity test rate. Anne Arundel County continues vaccinating groups in Phase 1B, which currently includes all residents aged 75 and older, residents and employees of groups, living facilities, workers needed to keep the government functioning, teachers and child care workers vaccinated for Phase 1A group, mainly healthcare workers, and first responders are also continuing. CVS Pharmacy in Maryland is going to give out the COVID-19 vaccine to 37 or more. Appointment for the doses will be available once again. So far in Maryland, there are more than 1,800,000 administered doses of the COVID-19 vaccine and more than 2,100,000 doses distributed of the COVID-19. 672,463 have already been fully vaccinated. If you'd like to look at the coronavirus in the state of Maryland and you live in Maryland, whether if you're in Cecil, Hartford, Baltimore, or any counties, log on to their Maryland's link at coronavirus.maryland.gov. Click it.